making you stronger.
We've got to hold on. We got to hold on. We've got to hold on. TMU.
Scrape. Yeah. Yeah. I told my homie name is, but we ain't no scrapers. If we make it big, it's cause God made it happen. We ain't in this ain't for no damn fame or fortune. Nah. We just tryna be a voice up in this culture. Wait. People in this industry, they seem like vultures. Vulture. Waiting after shows and begging for their features. Scrape. Just don't see them, you ain't low, we staying focused. Yo, I got more to say, but hold up, I can feel that bass. I don't know what's going on right now in CHH. Nah. Look like all these rappers out here only trying to scrape. Look like all these rappers out here too scared to share faith. Come on. We came in Jesus' name, but now we ain't afraid to say it. We be going places Christians normally don't be at. We came to be a lot, I mean that always was a mission. God's the one who did it, y'all just need to pay attention. Yeah, we on our grind, but just know we ain't ever scraping. I ain't saying we already better know. We gon' make mistakes along this narrow road. God's the one who did it, open up the doors. Yeah. No, I ain't saying we already better know. We gon' make mistakes along this narrow road. God's the one who did it, open up the doors. Yeah. Just know we don't ever scrape. Scrape. Purpose in every step we take. Just know we don't ever scrape. No. Scrape. Yeah. Begging for position that ain't never been our taste. Man, we don't scrape. Purpose in every step we take. Just know we don't ever scrape. Yeah. Scrape. Begging for position that ain't never been our taste. Man, we don't scrape. Scrape. No, we don't. Scrape. No, we don't. Don't demand an audience with the king or push for a place amongst the great. It's better to wait for an invitation at the head of the table than to be sent away in public disgrace. Public disgrace. Okay. Me and my friend, we chillin' up inside his Q&A. Score some VIP tickets to see that boy Lecrae. He stepped up out that stage and then he looked me in the face. Pointed me out and he said, I think I know your name. What? Ain't you the kid that kinda look like Eazy-E? Dang. All of a sudden everybody look at me. I also heard you rap and I've heard some great things. Yeah, we gon' have to see. I ain't gonna lie, I mean this was kind of insane. Had to be careful not to take it to the brain. I know Cray is human, I mean we are all the same. All I'm trying to say is I ain't never trying to scrape. No way. I ain't trying to scrape nowhere. Okay. No. Yeah. God is the one who put me in this place, alright. I ain't saying we already better know. We gon' make mistakes along this narrow road. God's the one who did it, open up the doors. Yeah. No, I ain't saying we already better know. We gon' make mistakes along this narrow road. God's the one who did it, open up the doors. Yeah. Just know we don't ever scrape. Scrape. Purpose in every step we take. Just know we don't ever scrape. No. Scrape. Yeah. Begging for position that ain't never been our taste. Man, we don't scrape. Purpose in every step we take. Just know we don't ever scrape. Yeah. Scrape. Begging for position that ain't never been our taste. Man, we don't scrape. 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 Lives will be silenced, man. Scrape. Yeah. We don't.
TMU.
Es martes por la noche. Tu programa de política e información social comienza ahora. It's Tuesday evening. Your award-winning political and information show. Listen to Me starts now. Bueno, mi gente, este es Listen to Me, the award-winning winner of the Sacro Imperio Awards 2017 for Best Radio Show. And also, I'm JJ Rodriguez, winner of the Sacro Imperio Awards for Best Presenter and Best Comic in 2014. Hey, I talk about politics, I talk about religion, I talk about community affairs. We're broadcasting live from Orlando, Florida to the cyberspace emporium that is called the internet in radiount.net. Next to me is Scotland Calhoun, my beautiful co-host tonight, who is now has retaken her position as a co-host because we had to form the FBI commission and all that stuff, and she recused herself, and there were memos and there were other memos that were released, but we did the historic debate, so that is something. And so Scotland, welcome back. And my dear friends, as I always start this monologue, como yo siempre empiezo este monólogo, quiero decirle a la gente de Puerto Rico que estamos con ustedes, estamos con sus pensamientos, y este mensaje va para el presidente Donald Trump. This message goes to President Donald Trump because I have, under good advice, that he does listen to me. Somebody told me that he either hears it live the first couple of minutes and then he has to do other things. He's the president of the United States. Of course he's not going to listen to the whole hour. So, Mr. President, it's very important that you understand this. I understand your position with Puerto Rico. Yo entiendo su posición y su postura con Puerto Rico. Talking about it could get you in a lot of hot water. I understand it. But nevertheless, we're talking about 3.2 million American citizens that are in dire need of either medical necessities, light, water, and still the infrastructure, roads, bridges, things that need to be fixed. I understand that you're trying to put the pressure. Yo entiendo que usted está tratando de poner la presión a la población de Puerto Rico. The American population of Puerto Rico needs to make a decision. I understand that, Mr. President. But we need to re-examine the powers to be, los poderes que están alrededor y lo que están consumiendo a Puerto Rico. And it's corruption. Es la corrupción. The only way that Puerto Rico will be able to eliminate this, the drain, the swamp of corruption, something that you ran on, Mr. President, is to help us with the Justice Department, the FBI, and try and get to the bottom of what's going on in the corruption of Puerto Rico. Why so many billions of dollars have disappeared? Because it's disappeared. Ha desaparecido. No quiero señalar dedos. I don't want to point fingers to no politician or political party, especially when I am a pro-statehooder. And I understand that within my own party, there is corruption. And I am sorry to say it, but it's the truth. Y me van a caer chinche, me van a caer... They're going to scratch me. They're going to tell me you are a traitor. No, I'm not. I am a communicator, and I have to communicate to the people. The only way that this show has sustained its viability and its entertainment value is because I am not biased by anybody. Like the president, who was not biased by anybody, I pay from my own pocket to be able to be here. Yo pago para estar aquí. Nadie me da dinero. And I'm very, very selective of the sponsors that I choose to give me money. Why? Because I lose my creativity once I start taking money. Do I need it? Yes. I have to still pay Mr. Montes. I have to still pay for my gas. I have to pay Scotland. So because there are expenses. I gasto. Pero I have to make a choice whether my creativity or somebody pulling the strings. I have to be very careful. And I understand that you have to do that too, Mr. President. Even though that you do not respond to anybody, you have to walk with caution. But we need more control
We need more help in the Department of Justice in Puerto Rico, the FBI, the national security agencies that operate in Puerto Rico need more help to be able to drain the swamp that's going on in Puerto Rico. And we also need help with the infrastructure. The only way that we could get help with the infrastructure, Mr. President, is if you sit the Equality Commission, our 2 senators, and our 5 congressmen in Congress and let them lobby for Puerto Rico. That's the only thing that will help solve that initial problem. Once we start voting for our senators and our congressmen, you'll see the cycle. And I guarantee you Puerto Rico is gonna trend Republican. There's an interesting trend that my co-host Scotland is going to talk about in further in this show. And probably you may hear it, or probably you may not hear it, Mr. President. But people are confused within the political parties of the United States, especially here in Orlando, Florida. Can you imagine what's happening in Puerto Rico? When there are 3 distinct political parties for more than 92 years. There's been 3 different types of political systems in Puerto Rico. The Independence Party, Pro-Colony Party, and the Pro-Statehood Party. Not Republican or Democrat. Not Libertarian. 3. Moving on. The Prime Minister of Canada said that, corrected a woman because ella utilizó la palabra la humanidad. She used mankind. And the polyphacetic Prime Minister of Canada said, ha ha ha, we should all learn from each other. It is not mankind, it's people kind. Wow. Really? You have to understand that people have freedoms and liberties to say the committeeman, the committee woman, or the committee person. Being political correct is something that is very individual, not pushed to the masses. Do not profess yourself to be better than another individual just because you could correct them. And again, I know that you speak French. Au revoir, monsieur. But the thing of it is that you cannot preach to saying, I am the best. I know what is best for you. Let me tell you how to walk this path. Sounds like socialism to me. When somebody else has to tell you what to do or how to speak, that is giving away your individuality. If you wish to say mankind, continue to say mankind. If you wish to say people kind, you could say people kind. I want to say, it's kind of strange. I got an email from my counterpart. I'm the chairman of the Hispanic Republican Organization in Texas. In Texas, a Republican state, there is the chairman of the Democratic Hispanic Organization. And he comes up and he writes me a letter saying that we should change, instead of saying the national chairman of the Hispanic Republican Organization, we should say the national chairperson. Again, when I step down, the people after me wishes to do that, they could do that. But I, as chairman of the Hispanic Republican Organization, I will say that I am the chairman. Again, when I leave in 2020. Why? Because I'm going to start my political jump. I'm going to try to run for something. I've never denied it. And I'll continue to be in Listen to Me beyond 2020. But it's time to let the Hispanic Republican Organization breathe on its own. And I've been with it since 2001. So it's time for new blood. I recognize that. I understand that. I am going to leave on my own terms. Happy with a membership of almost 2.2 million nationwide, in Florida 5,000 strong, regardless of any other chairmans of any executive committees that say that HR is non-existent. If HR wasn't non-existent, I wouldn't have 2,000 views my first time in the show when I did Listen to Me. 2,000 listeners that tuned in for the first time. And it's grown more. And we won an award from the Spanish media. So we must be doing something right. Another thing that we're going to be talking about and we're going to be discussing is about breastfeeding. some people want to try and push breastfeeding as some form of an art now, where they want to push the boundaries. And I understand that creativity has somewhere, because I am a creative person, but I have my boundaries. As I said, I've always said this. Yo siempre he dicho esto, soy un revolucionario. I'm a revolutionary in my ideas. I am liberal in my objectives, and I am conservative in my methods. Even when I do art, as a stand-up comic, doing improv, doing my shows, trying to be funny, trying to make people laugh, trying to make people think, I am a communicator foremost. When I saw this video of a young woman breastfeeding her child while doing yoga poses, I was a little bit appalled and amused, because the baby was having the fun of a time. Baby was not being hurt in any way. There was no mistreatment. This is a baby that has a beautiful bond with her mom doing these types of exercises. And she practices yoga. But is this really a true extension of what is yoga? Is this a true extension of what is parenting? Is this a true extension of what is art? And what Facebook is allowing? Because God forbid I take off my shirt and I do a Facebook Live, they're going to censor me off. They say, like, no! Well, in reality, nobody wants to see me shirtless in a Facebook Live. But I understand that. Yet, the topic of public breastfeeding, or breastfeeding a child and videotaping it and putting it in social medias, will be discussed in this show. We're going to see what's going on. We're going to see probably get some feedback from Scotland, who is a very beautiful woman, and we're going to see what can happen with breastfeeding. Is it something that should be done in public? Could it be done in a football game? Could it be done in a baseball game? Are we subject to walk around with gringolas, where we're going to have to watch where we walk, because, you know, we're going to be offending people kind? Again, that is my monologue, and I'm sticking to it. I'm JJ Rodriguez, and I want to wish Scotland a happy return. How you doing, Scotland?
I'm doing good. You make me laugh.
Well, I'm good. I did my job. Well, the thing of it is that, Scotland, it's true. Let's jump into this subject, and after that, we're going to be analyzing the debate. I know you couldn't be there because of your mom, but it was a very interesting debate. We did make history. I did listen. And you did listen, so we could make some comments about that. But let's talk about this breastfeeding, Scotland. The video that I showed you was a woman in her 30s. She was doing some movements of yoga. The baby was clinging to the mother's breasts, obviously breastfeeding. What did those images make you feel, or what was? Did they make you any opinion come out?
At first, I was actually shocked you shared it. I had to go back and see who actually shared it. Because, like, I hate those things on my social media. I don't like it. I kind of just delete it. I was actually really appalled and disgusted. It's not only embarrassing to the mother later on in her life when she looks back and is like, wow, my breasts are all over the internet, but also when the child grows up and, you know, they share their baby pictures and their name gets put out there, the mother's name gets put out there, and when they're 25, there's videos of them as a child sucking on their mother's breast. And it isn't fair. I know children have no rights, but it's up to the parents to keep their children safe, and that is not keeping their children's identity safe and their privacy safe.
Well, let me play devil's advocate, because the child was not in any danger.
If the mother would have lost balance and landed on the child would then be in danger.
That's true. Yeah.
Because she didn't look like she had that much balance. She was wobbling.
She was wobbling a bit. But yeah, you know, she's doing these precarious movements in yoga, and in yoga, it is trying to get a spiritual balance. So many of the people, and I do have another show prior to this one in the morning. So in the morning show, I got kind of like a split 50-50. 50% of the women said that were Latinas. They said that there's no place in the internet, there's no place for breastfeeding in public. And then I had the other 50% where they were seeing it in an artistic way. Oh, she's trying to create art. She's trying to be freely expressive. But But again, I have to side with you in 1 second. If she would have wobbled a little more to the left, she would have fallen on top of the baby. You know,
More concerning to me is her feet are really dirty.
yeah, her feet were really dirty too. You know what happens if the feet lands and hits the baby in the face? You know, half of that scar is gonna be like dirt. But the thing of it is that it comes up to the debate whether breastfeeding is something that should be done privately or should be shared with people kind.
Well, I talked to you about it. I was saying how unfortunately nowadays breasts are sexualized. There is a place in the World Wide Web that there is breastfeeding pornography. Men do get aroused by it, and men purposely seek out, some not men, not all men, purposely seek out women who have been pregnant so they get the breast milk and they get that arousal. And frankly, unfortunately, until we get to the point where, which it'll never happen because we're in a sinful world and we have sinful minds, men are going to get aroused from seeing a breast, whether it is being sucked on by an adult or a child.
Well, I still I cannot I did I lost all my words. It's like when I see it, it repugnance. It's not repugnant because you're giving nourishment to a baby, but it doesn't to myself. It's like, well, cover up. You know, you're feeding your kid. It's like, should I eat my food right now while I'm doing the show? You know, there's a time and a place.
Well,
you know,
there was in another state, not in Florida, because Florida is very cooperative with businesses. A Chick-fil-A, I forgot the state. A woman was breastfeeding uncovered, and the owner kindly said, "Can you please cover or go to the bathroom?" The woman complained, put it all over social media, and if I was the owner, I wouldn't have retracted my statement. But he apologized.
Wow.
And in that state, the government does have the right to say, "Business, you're in the wrong. You cannot tell that woman to cover up. That is her right." So then we get into state and business, and I believe that the business has the right to say either cover up or leave, especially when you're entering a Christian environment where we know Chick-fil-A is Christian based, and you're just going to openly uncover yourself and have everyone seeing all of your junk.
Well, you talked a very good point about a restaurant, but the thing of it is, what happens if you want to go out with your family into a local baseball game or football game, or even a high school football game, you know, and all of a sudden you're there, hey, yeah, let's go, and all that, holy poop. You know, that woman just popped out her breast and started feeding her kid right there and then. You know, it is a very, very, very fine line between the privacy rights. But that's the thing, privacy rights, do they really mean, it's like, do they really mean privacy, but privacy for you to have the right to exhibit yourself, because then you're not private anymore. I'm a little bit flabbergasted how women want to give up that right to their privacy and just flash it to the world.
Well, the thing is, if the woman removed the child from that video and it was just her doing naked yoga, would Facebook remove it? Most likely.
Yes.
So because we add a child sucking her breast, it's okay now? All of a sudden it's perfectly fine because there's a child being added to it?
Yeah, you know, it's like, it's crazy, because the thing of it is that, well, I read, going back to that, I went back and I read Facebook's guideline. They're treating it as art.
It's sad.
You thought they would have blocked that already. They would have taken it off.
Yeah, they would have blocked it already. So when I looked at their guidelines before issuing a complaint, because I was going to issue a complaint to see what happened, I said no, because their guidelines are strict. Even if there's partial or semi-nudity in a gradual state of art or creativity, Facebook will not bring it down. So
back to the mankind really quickly. I tweeted your people kind, and I did a poll so far, and one of my followers retweeted and said people kind is also offensive because not everyone is people.
That's true.
Some people are just
they're not thrilled either one way or another with people kind. But that again, I correlate the people kind with the breastfeeding because they are ways that people want to manipulate our way of thinking and withdraw our individuality. Quieren tratar de retirar nuestra individualidad con pensamientos socialistas. And these are the socialist ideas and concepts that slowly erode us to the point where you started, before we started the show off the air. People don't know what the hell their party stands for. Not Democrats, not Republicans, not even the Libertarians. I don't think the Libertarians, the Libertarians,
I think they're pretty sure.
yeah, they're pretty sure. They just don't want to admit it because they're afraid there's some type of conspiracy if they do admit it. But the thing of it is that if people don't know, let's put it this way. If you're a Democrat, but you're against abortion and for lowering taxes, are you really a true Democrat? No. You're a centrist. You're a centrist. You're moving into that fine line between being a Democrat and being a Republican. The same thing. If a Republican believes, oh, well, there's certain parts of the Second Amendment that shouldn't happen, well, then you're not a Republican. You are walking that fine line. I wouldn't say a Bernie Sanders side because that's way to the left. He's an independent just to confuse people.
He's a rhino. Then they're a rhino. They're Republican by name only.
There's rhinos, there are dinos, there's linos, libertarians in name only, which God knows what the hell those are. Yes, I'm a lino. What? Yes, I'm from the Green Party. I'm a lino. That's what a lino is. A libertarian in name only is a member of the Green Party or something like that. The thing of it is that parties are like the executive committee in Orange County. They are social elitist clubs that want to perpetrate their leadership as long as possible, because even though they do not earn money, they have the power. And the power begets corruption. With the corruption, funny things start happening and elections are lost and counties are lost. And that's why Orange County lost to the Democratic Party. A party that was in disarray 3 years ago with Obama in the seat. Again, the education message to the Republican Party, el mensaje del Partido Republicano, you have to start integrating Latino into the field. You have to start looking for not only students, you have to start looking for females, you have to start looking for the males, you have to start looking for the young Republicans and start integrating them into getting young Republicans that are Latinos. It's not. Politics loses your common sense. And we fail in the education because Republicans want to run everything with volunteers. Democrats are willing to pay, but unfortunately they're not paying to educate. They're paying to change minds and change votes. That's why there's the confusion. That's why there's the confusion. Republicans have to start, and I understand it, the RPOF, a Republican Party of Florida, I'm not asking for your money. Why? Because again, I lose my morals. The problem with the Republican Party, and the only way the Republican Party will understand that is if we start electing more Latinos like Marco Rubio to the Senate, Puerto Ricans probably so, other than Darren Soto. Please somebody run against Darren Soto. I know Wayne is a good guy, but we need better candidates. That's another thing that the Republican Party has to understand. We need a core of better candidates, not just saying, okay, we'll let him run his course. Oh, he won the primary, or she won the primary. What the Republican Party did with Tweed Lowe was apprehensible. They just gave the Senate seats to Val Demings, Murphy, and Darren Soto. And if we win them back, fine. If we don't win them back, fine. But how do we look towards the national politics and with mud in our face, how dare does the RPOF directors and committee chairmans saying, "Oh, we've done the work that had to be done," and they profess and they call and they say the same stupidities over and over and over again. You know what? That's the definition of lunacy. Lunacy. They expect different results doing the same thing. It's not. It is a lunatic world. They want us to win elections without money, without the education, and we still are wondering why the voter base out there is confused. What do you say, my dear?
I think so. The Republican Party has this pamphlet, and it says if you believe in family, if you believe in God, if you believe in freedom of speech, all this stuff, then you're a Republican. And unfortunately, I don't like calling myself a Republican. I am a registered Republican. I will be a super voter registered Republican. But I don't classify myself as that. I am a Christian constitutional conservative in that order. No other order, nothing before that. It's that order, and that order alone. I never have Republican in there because there are some Republicans that don't share the same values as me. And unfortunately, just because someone believes in God and family, that's not helping them make the decisions. There's more to it than just God and family. There's your liberties, there's taxes involved. There are all these things that come to play about who you're going to vote for. And I think the Republican Party is now trying to backtrack. And they're trying to say, oh, let's create a Hispanic Federalist women's club. And they begged my mom to join. And my mom was like, do you guys not understand that I'm running for office? Now you want to create this party, this club. You're a little too late. You're a good 10 years late. We've been talking about this from time to time to time, and now you guys want to create this club. Now you want to get Puerto Ricans involved when you should have been doing this a long time ago. And they don't want to admit that they failed. They don't want to admit that they're now doing what Kissimmee did. And it's becoming to this point where we are going to lose Orange County. And they're going to go for Seminole County. And these people who, unfortunately, they live in Seminole County, and they're like, oh, well, why would I donate to you when you're running in Orange? Well, because do you think the Democratic Party is going to stop with Orange County? No. They're going to go for every single county until the entire state is blue.
No, yeah. And that is what the RPOF does not want to understand. They want to continue with volunteers trying to do something that even in Miami, if they look at the tactics they used in Miami, they flipped the Democratic playbook on the Democratic Party in Dade County, and they paid Cuban refugees, I think it was $11.50 an hour to work 8-hour shifts, working every precinct. And I'm not saying it because I want to blow smoke up on my toot, but look it up and see what the Republican Party, the executive committee of Dade County hired. People that were having problems getting a job, they hired them to work 8 hours a day, paid them $11.50 an hour, so they could go from precinct to precinct. When we tried to do the same idea here, me and 3 other former OCREC members were kicked out of OCREC for even offering that, because there was no money. And on top of that, they didn't want somebody like me telling the chairman what to do, because me and the chairman had frictions, and we got kicked out. That was the famous election that the chairman got reelected. Mysteriously, he got reelected by 3 votes. So history could have been different if those 3 votes. They say votes don't count. Well, votes count when they can vote in a democratic society that lets the voters vote, whether it's an executive committee, whether it's a homeowners association, whether it's a high school board. You have to let every vote count. You have to understand your precincts, and if you have precincts that are leaning Democrat, Mr. Akrek Civil or Social Club, you have to have people in every one of those precincts. And the RPOF have to understand that they have to hire people, get these people that have problems getting jobs, these same Puerto Ricans that are coming from Puerto Rico, offer them a job, train them, let them go into these same communities, and I can assure you that Darren Soto will not be congressman, Val Demings will not be congresswoman, congressperson, sorry, and the other Murphy, she would not be a congressperson either. But we have to be vocal. And right now, I don't know if you sense this, Scotland, but there is a three-way fracture within the Orange County Republican Party. There's the Lou Oliver Social Club. There's Randy Ross, which has done a lot of work with I4 for Puerto Rico. And then there's a third, which is the United Republican under Typhoon Lou. There are three fractions, and within those fractions, it's like a gravity. I would have to bring one of those guys from Cosmos. There's billions and billions of stars in the Republican Party that are trying to correlate into a group. There's also singular different fractions. The Vertica Cabreras, the Tico, other fractions that are floating within these three main groups.
I would have to say, I don't like talking bad about people because, well, I do, but I'm very careful about who I talk about, but I will say this. I have never experienced sexism and bigotry in my life except for the past year. That's the only time I experienced it. And I experienced sexism with one of the men you just said the names of, the three of them, one of them, I experienced sexism with. And yes, I am young. I am a millennial, unfortunately. I am a female. A millennial as in I have that bad title of you're a millennial, you're addicted to your cell phone, you're attached to it 24/7, you have nothing to do except be on your phone. And I'm a female. And I don't like to play that female card, but for the first time in my life, I experienced sexism, where I was told to stay in my lane. And at that point, I did not know how to handle myself. I was like, do I burn this bridge? Do I tell him off? What do I do? Because again, I am a female, I am young, and will he still respect me? Will he even treat me worse? And I see it everywhere now. Now that I have experienced it, when my mom was doing the gala, the Hispanic gala, every single person that was not Hispanic, that was used to the whites in the Federated, they all said, no, that's offensive, no. And my mom's like, what? So they sabotaged her gala, and thank God, by the glory of God, it was a success. And only by God was it a success, because the powers did not want it to be. And I now see it. Before I was like, there's no racism, there's no bigotry, there's no sexism in the Republican Party. And for sure there is. And unfortunately, until they get over themselves and until they realize it is inevitable, the Hispanics are going to take over this country eventually, whether we like it or not. And it's going to have to be, and they have to get over it. And if you are a leader in the Republican Party and you are talking poorly about another leader in the Republican Party openly and bashing their morals and who they are as a person, what does that say about you?
It is very regrettable, because that same leader threw out three members of the Hispanic Republican organization that were members of OCREC, and then all of a sudden, months before that, have had cataloged all Puerto Ricans as being socialists because they wanted everything handed out to them. The problem with it is that when that type of ignorant speaking shows to me that they have not taken, and you have to understand, these are the same people that tell me that Juan Ponce de Leon left from Spain to discover Florida. No. Juan Ponce de Leon left from Ponce, Puerto Rico to from Ponce, Puerto Rico to Florida to discover the Fountain of Youth. So we got to go on a break. All right, we'll be right back. It's a very interesting topic. We've gone from breastfeeding to social clubs in the Republican Party. But, you know, what happens if we spill a little bit of milk? Still, we're going to be coming back.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. We're coming back with Listen to Me. This is JJ Rodriguez with Scotland Calhoun. Listen to Me. We'll be right back.
Bohemia 2, marzo 16. Las puertas abren a las 8 p.m. y el show comienza a las 8:30. Entradas $15 en la puerta y por Eventbrite $10. Eventbrite.com $10. En la puerta $15. Si quieres el buffet, son $13 adicionales en la puerta. No te lo pierdas, habrá música, comedia, artistas del patio y internacionales. No te lo pierdas en Café Mineiro, 8204 Crystal Clear Lane, Suite 1700, Orlando, Florida. Café Mineiro Brazilian Steakhouse en la 8204 Crystal Clear Lane. Bohemia 2, la extravagancia continúa.
Bueno, mi gente, este es JJ Rodríguez con Scotland Calhoun aquí en el programa ganador de los Sacro Imperio Awards, Listen to Me. Bueno, mi gente, nosotros estamos hablando de muchas cosas sobre la lactación en público, estamos hablando sobre los clubes sociales y cómo la gente todavía sufre de racismo y sexismo dentro de los estereotipos del Partido Republicano. Pero si yo fuese una persona que yo veo todos estos problemas con el Partido Republicano, ¿qué me va a decir un demócrata? Pero ¿por qué tú estás en el Partido Republicano? Bueno, yo estoy en el Partido Republicano porque yo tengo unos ideales y unos fundamentos básicos que me dicen que yo soy republicano. Yo soy conservador, me gusta que el gobierno tenga sus límites, pero es como Scotland está diciendo, no todos los preceptos de lo que es un republicano te van a calificar como ser republicano. Hay unos denominadores, hay unos fundamentos básicos que te hacen pensar que eres republicano o eres demócrata o eres independiente. Porque volvemos al tema. El partido de mayor crecimiento no es ni el demócrata, ni el republicano, ni el libertariano. Es el partido de no identificación partidista, the NPIs, the No Party Affiliations, NPA, No Party Affiliations. Lo que nosotros tenemos que entender dentro del Partido Republicano, para terminar este tema y ir al análisis del debate, so we could finish these themes and go to the analysis of the debate, es lo siguiente. Partido Republicano de Florida, the Republican Party of Florida has to understand that they have to invest in the Hispanic community. Because it's like Scotland says, we are here to stay. We love you. We want to be with you. But you know what? You have to tell us why we should vote for you. And I'm so sorry for Beltica that wanted to find, and for Randy Ross that wanted to find that Spanish girl that would do the rebuttal. But you have to understand something. If you have not done the homework before you're looking for the subject, you can expect to find the subject. Because if you haven't done the work, you will not find the subject. In other words, you can't dig for gold where there is no gold. Why? Because you can't wish the gold to pop up into the surface. You're gonna have to dig. Gonna dig very deep. So that's the ending of that. The Republican Party, and I always say it, and this is not the only show. You have to invest in the Hispanic community. And if you do not invest in the Hispanic community, you will lose Orange County. Simply said. Okay. History was made, Scotland. Last Tuesday, we had our first debate of the congressional candidates with Gina Perez Calhoun and Susan. And basically, we had invited Nicolette, and we had invited Kevin, and we had invited Maribel. Kevin kind of told me he had a personal thing, so I'm going to let it slide for this time. We're going to see what happens. But Maribel and Nicolette, wow. two people that want to run for an office,
I wasn't surprised.
yet they do not want to speak to the voters.
I wasn't surprised.
I wonder if they're historically, and maybe you. I need your millennial mind. See, I need your millennial mind. Millennials. It's like, what is that? Like the Millennium Falcon, something like that. Star Wars reference. I really don't know. I don't care. They're human beings. They're human beings, man.
Not all of them.
And that's true. Again, they may be stuck to their iPhones. Anyway, my dear Scotland, historically, when a candidate omits a debate, what usually happens?
They don't win.
Historically speaking, you're not telling your message directly to the voters.
No, you're telling it. You're saying that you're scared or you're just too uneducated to debate right now. And I wasn't surprised about who did not show up. If I would have bet money, I probably would have bet $100 that all three of them would not have showed up. I was kind of surprised that Kevin didn't. His excuse is his excuse. No one can confirm nor deny his excuse. So we'll leave it at that. But for Nicolette, I'll openly say this is not being biased. This is just me interacting with her as a person. I don't like her as a person. She's not what Orange County is. She's what Lake Nona is. And she cannot relate to most of District 4. Most of District 4 can't afford to quit their job to run for office, and their husband can make all the money. And for Maribel, after she lost the race the first time, you'd think she would want to do everything possible to get her name out more and to show her intellect. And in reality, she did not do that. She chickened out. And for her to come to another show right after the debate in the same location just an hour later, that's a chicken.
Yep, I have to agree with you, and I'm sorry, Maribel. You know, I had her in my show, and we spoke about her running, and we spoke about it, and I told her, you know, if there was a debate, would you be there? And she kind of vacillated into the yes or no, but to have her campaign manager so blatantly say no, and not to offer any excuse, and she kind of didn't even look at me in the eye. It's like, God bless you. And I'm like, okay. So there has to be something else in the mix. Who is pulling her strings or who is managing her campaign? I am so sorry, Maribel.
Oh, I know exactly who's managing her campaign.
They're giving you bad advice. And if you want to speak to me directly, it's 321-439-8218. You could leave me a message. We could talk. We could go get some decaffeinated coffee so you don't stress out. And we could, some low-cal sugar. Pero Maribel, fallaste, mija. Fallaste en anunciar al público, el público latino, lo que tú podías hacer para el Distrito 4 y tú fallaste. Diciendo una excusa que es muy temprano. It's too early. You mean to tell me there is no right time to profess your message to the voters? I am so sorry. No hay ningún tiempo perfecto que el hoy y el ahora para manifestar. And Nicolette, what the hell? You know, you said you were going to contact me because you had a fundraiser. You left me in the blank. You did not appear. You did not even call me. You didn't even have the nerve to tell me, hey, Jay, I really don't dig your show. It's cool. I'm not going. All right. But you have to. What is this deception that these people like to play, and they think that voters will not partake or understand in this deception? Because Nicolette, all you have to do is say, hey, I'm not going to the debate. Whatever excuse you want to make. Okay, fine. She doesn't want to do it. But to tell me, oh, I got a fundraiser, I'm going to move some dates, I'll give you a call. Just leave me in the blank. You know, it is something that is so hurtful and so fake. And the two ladies that did come, you know what?
It was a good debate.
We made history. We made history.
Civil.
It was civil. The questions were asked, and very important questions. So Maribel, what is your position on homelessness? How are you going to help the homeless people? Nicolette, what are you going to do about zoning problems between the state and the county? How are you going to answer these questions when you do not appear? Have you not studied a las dos? Y te lo voy a decir en español, Maribel. Tú has estudiado la historia de los debates. La importancia. ¿Por qué, nena? ¿Por qué? Did I offend you before at anything? You did not even come up and tell me, hey, if I did anything, I would have apologized. But since I can't apologize for something that I don't know. Yeah. And I don't think I did anything wrong. I think you were just, Maribel, you were given the wrong advice. And Nicolette, I don't know who runs your campaign. If it's your husband, if it's yourself, but you think you know what is best for the voters of District 4, and that is where you're wrong. Mm-hmm. You didn't want to come to debate. We're going to move forward. We're going to do other debates. We're going to do county District 3. We're going to have Orange County mayors. We're going to try and get Demings and
Rob
there's yeah.
I don't know how to say his last name.
So,
it's Italian.
It's Italian. And our friend, that's in, but we're still waiting for the commissioner of District 3, Pete Clark, to make up his mind. Yeah. So that is District 3 is a jigsaw puzzle. Because Pete Clark is saying he's running for mayor.
And that worries me. Why? I love Pete. I love his soul. I love how sweet he is. But being a conservative, why don't you want to quit your job as county commissioner? Why don't you want to step down? Because you're worried you might not win the mayor's race, so you have this job as a backup. So if you see the polls aren't favoring you, you can say, nah, pulling out and staying as county commissioner. So to me, that worries me. It worries the voters. And I don't know how that's going to look in other voters' eyes. I'm a super voter, so I look highly into it. But there's some point where you're just going to have to say, I'm going to step away from county commissioner, District 3, and I'm going to run for mayor because I see the potential, and if I lose, I lose. He's retired. There's no job that he's risking besides county commissioner. He's retired. Yeah. So next time I see him, I'll be like, dude, what's up?
Yeah, make up your mind and see what's going on. Because again, there's that race is looking. We got Gus, we got Pete, we got a couple of more other people. The millionaire guy, that we're going to see if we could bring him over and talk to. I would probably ask him for a loan. Hey, can I have a loan? But the thing of it is that when you want to be a true servant of the people of Orange County, do you really want to play that type of politics? It's dangerous. It's a fine line. It's like doing a tightrope act, and the rope is not a rope. It's a surgical steel, and you're walking that fine line not to be sliced right in the middle, because the politics is not a. They say, Trump puts it better. I've only been a politician for a very short time, and I'm learning a lot. The thing of it is that there, in that microcosm, which is politics, which is Orange County, we're talking local politics. We have the District 3, we have the District 4, we have all these other districts. And basically, we see how they're trying to nudge and fit into the empty spaces that each one is leaving. Even though they're term limited, there's no term limit. I know, but the commissioners are term limited, right?
But when there's good things about term limits and there's bad things. So the good thing about term limits is that you get fresh blood. But when you have people like Jennifer Thompson, where her aide then runs, are we really getting fresh blood? Or are we getting the same blood with a different face?
Oh, well, that brings me to another part of the debate. Didn't she just, and Susan, she was very sweet and but she was taking
credit for everything.
Yeah, so what did the commissioner do?
I don't know. Apparently, Susan did everything. Susan was the commissioner, just called the secretary or glorified aide. I mean, honestly, there needs to be term limits for every part of the government. I don't know what Jennifer Thompson's plan is. I know she admitted that in the future she would like to run for something. God only knows what. But putting your aide as the next person, you want to foster new blood. People that have not been your aide, people who have not been involved in politics like you have. And I was listening to her speak before Susan put her name in, and we knew Susan was going to put her name in. And she says the institutional knowledge. And I hate that word. I hate the word institution. And to me, it's like, okay, institutional knowledge is important, but you can learn that. That can be learned.
And your mom's response to the question was very effective, because she said, as a lawyer, she's had to be trained to undertake a plethora of different scenarios. Yep. She had to see a lot of scenarios and make decisions based on those scenarios, and that's what I liked about your mom, candidate Gina Perez Calhoun. That Gina, she did not shy away of the questions. She answered them fidedignamente. She answered them truthfully, but she knew. She has the knowledge of what she needs to do to move forward into the county.
Well, like Trump was never a politician. No. He doesn't know about national security. He doesn't know about all the departments that are involved in the government. But what did he do? He surrounded himself with every single person that knew what they were supposed to do and knew what the president was supposed to do. And look, he's doing a great job, other what some people will say. But that's Gina. Gina's not ignorant. She's not going to surround herself with her friends like what the Osceola County Clerk of Court did with his family.
Nepotism.
Yeah. She's going to put people that know their crap and that won't try to take over Gina and won't lead her the wrong way. She's going to surround herself with people who can help her get the job done. And she'll give them the credit that is due, because not everyone is born with every piece of knowledge known to man. There are things you will learn on the way. And just because you have the institutional knowledge doesn't mean you're going to be a good leader. Because there's a difference between taking orders from someone and being the one giving the orders. And I think Susan can take all the credit she wants, but in reality, she wasn't the one doing the votes. She wasn't the one with the title. So it's going to be interesting to see how this election plays, for sure.
Well, yeah, because there's the balance right now with the other three candidates avoiding the speaking to the electorate, because they're choosing their own way how they communicate their messages to the voters.
But then look at what their party is. Those three. Exactly. We have two socialists, and one that's a Democrat but is for Sharia law. So, I mean, it says a lot about their character, and it says a lot about the party's character when your candidates are shying away from a debate. That says a lot. It says a lot, even though it's a nonpartisan race, which in reality, if you're involved in politics, there's no such thing.
Exactly, because the thing of it is that you have, again, we go back to the beginning of what the show was. The identity crisis of each party is being blurred to such part that they're merging. It's true, we're all Americans. Don't get me wrong. But the thing of it is that you have to stand for something, because if you don't stand for something, you don't stand for nothing. And even though that's a quote from Malcolm X, it still resonates. It still resonates because you have to stand for something. You have to stand for your ethics. You have to stand for your values. You have to stand for your morals. And again, I've always said it. I'm a revolutionary in my ideas. I'm a liberal in my objectives. And I'm a conservative in my methods. That was given to me by Governor Luisa Ferrer, the governor of Puerto Rico. He was a Republican. He was the founding member of the Republican Party in Puerto Rico, and he is the only Republican governor that balanced a budget in Puerto Rico. Balanced a budget in Puerto Rico. We didn't have $72 billion under Governor Ferrer's mandate. So I have to take his words at action, because he proved, he provided, he did. What we have to do, and again, we have to educate. We have to educate not only the voter base. We have to educate those politicians. We have to educate these people in these social clubs. Lou Marine, Tafu, Lou Oliver, even Randy Ross. Because Randy Ross, He's been one of the most supportive of the Hispanic movement because he's helped send tons of aid to Puerto Rico. But does he have a lot to learn? Yes, but at least he's receptive. At least he hasn't closed the door. He hasn't kicked anybody out. He's not running a social club. He's running a genuine political branch of Orange County Republicans, Trumpers, that really understand what they need to do to be able to win. But what the party has to do to be able to align these fractions and all the little gravitating little celestial bodies in between these three forces. I think, unfortunately, the Lou Oliver and the Lou Marine fraction will try to unite, and that's where the end of the OCREC will be sent. And basically, that social club, either the Republican Party of Florida will have to either disavow the charter of OCREC and make sure that the precinct captains and the precinct committeemen reorganize into another executive committee. But that will die out on its own. Unfortunately, I've had friends tell me, oh no, what we have to do is join in and do we can't really join in and listen to a gentleman profess something that has been proven to fail year after year after year after year. Even if we were able to do the exact words that he said, we will still fail.
Well, I want to interject. So Lou Oliver is an intelligent man. He has made his millions. He is successful. And unfortunately, if anyone else is leading OCREC besides him, it would already be in the toilet because he is the one that's financially supporting it. He's the reason why OCREC has money in its account because he is smart with his money and he knows he has connections to Timbuktu. But again, we're not building future leaders. And when Lou finally says, "I'm done, peace out," who's gonna take charge? Another. I don't want. I sound so bad saying this, but another white man.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen because the problem is the social club known as OCREC and the social club known as the United Republicans under Lou Marine, and I respect them both, but the problem is they're not seeing the bigger picture, the round bigger picture, and it is that within Orange County, if there is no inclusion of minorities, they're going to lose. Scotland, when I left, more than 250, after I left, 250 members of OCRED left. 2/3 of the membership left. And I'm not lying. You could look at the books. You could go to the OCRED meetings.
I was at the executive meeting. Membership is very low.
It's up to what, 150 right now? 100, not even 200 people.
Yeah, if that.
If that. Because I haven't stepped foot back, but I have eyes that tell me, Jay, they send me photographs of the empty chairs.
There's a lot. And frankly, they're all old.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with old people. I love most of them that go there.
But they're the ones, and pardon to interrupt you, they're the ones that will keep Lou there as long as they need him. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people like BJ and Darrell from AFP,
Mm-hmm.
I love their souls, and those are the people that I love. But the ones that just sit there and don't say anything and don't contribute, and frankly, most of them are white. Mm-hmm. And I think my mom and like 3 other people are the only Hispanics there. And the fact that they were begging Hispanics to come, trying to find Hispanics to come to the dinner, I mean, that's sad when you have to beg people to come and say, well, you'll be free if you can volunteer and speak Spanish.
Did they go?
They did. They got a free dinner as long as they were able to speak Spanish and check people in. And that's sad. And I mean, I'm just tired of all the political clubs, to be frank. I'm tired of all of them. They're exhausting, and they're all the same. They talk about the same thing. They're not creative on their speakers, and there are so many intelligent speakers out there that are Spanish, but we're not seeing them. It's all white speakers. It's all speakers who we've seen in the past, time and time and time again. And if you want to educate your voters, bring new, fresh faces in that they've never seen before. They're like, wait, who's that? They have an impressive resume, but who are they?
Yeah, it's true, and you're right. You've hit it right in the nail, Scotland. They don't want to bring new speakers. They want the same old mashed potatoes and gravy. They want the same corned beef. They want the same meatloaf. They want. I don't think they even have changed the Lincoln Day dinner and menu in what 12 years.
I don't even think they're doing a Lincoln Day dinner. I think they kicked that in the butt.
Yeah.
They're just doing mini dinners, mini events.
Because the thing is that they want to, like they said, they want to be smart about their money, and they cannot entice people to go. And if they entice the people to go, it's because they give them something in return. And after that gift is gone, what they do?
Well, the funny thing is they were talking about this one dinner that would cost I think it was like $1,000 per couple. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know what class you're looking at, because I'm pretty sure the people in this room can't afford $1,000 a couple. I'm like, that's
$500 a piece. No, that's a mortgage.
That's a mortgage payment.
It's a mortgage payment.
I don't know anyone that can pay $1,000 for a dinner. You're speaking to the wrong crowd. And
That's
millennials,
true.
if you want to get millennials, there's some millennials that can't even afford $20.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I mean, something needs to be figured out.
Well, we're going to do it. Well, we'll leave it for the next show. Scotland, you want to say goodbyes? We've come to 8 o'clock already.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, JJ. And follow me at Scotland Calhoun on my Instagram for more posts.
Alrighty. Well, I'm JJ Rodriguez. This is Listen to Me, the Sacro Imperio winner for the best radio show. And you know what? Llegamos siempre positivos, entusiasmados y enchulados de la vida, pero llegamos siempre al final. I love you. Take care. See you next Tuesday. Listen to me.
Ya me curé, salí de la cárcel que me tenía el vicio, ya perdoné. Aquel que me usó pa' su beneficio, ya me olvidé del pasado que partió mi corazón. Ahora mi vida es puro vacilón, las botellas déjala guardada, que mi copa sigue llena, por dentro llevo una sustancia.